So we're talking about nutrient timing in this one. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about race or event day nutrition. That's going to be a video in itself. But nutrient timing, the basics. I've got this little board here. I hope you can see that. So the basics, protein. As I said in the previous video, protein remains unchanged. Work out your grams per kilogram. Stick to that every day, regardless of your training volume. Remember, grams per kilogram, not percentage of calories. Then carbs are the one that are going to fluctuate the most. On high training, high volume, higher intensity training days, you're going to need more carbohydrates. On your longer training sessions and during your events, you're going to be eating more carbohydrates because you're going to need to eat those carbs to fuel up. Again, I'll be talking about that in a bit more detail in another video, and there is a file that supports that video that explains the fueling strategies on race days. So you might find that on high training days you're eating a lot more carbs, and on low training days you're eating fewer carbs, and on rest days you might be eating very few carbs. You might be eating very little of anything because it's likely you won't be that hungry on a full rest day when you're just sitting around watching Netflix. So the timing, when we talk about nutrient timing, it's not as important as the basic stuff, which we talked about in the first video, which is understanding energy balance, eating mostly whole foods most of the time, eating protein at every meal, eating complex carbs at every meal, making sure you've got enough fiber, making sure you're well hydrated. Those are the important things. Get those right, and then you can start playing around with tracking your macros and timing your carbohydrates to maximize your potential for performance and recovery. I also wanted to talk about train low. So I did mention this briefly in the previous video where I was saying about some of the low carb athletes. Low carb is demonstrably not better for performance, but it might be better for some people who struggle with digestion issues. And if you do struggle with digestion issues, that's something you need to get looked at by a clinician. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next video. So train low basically is when you train in a state of low carbohydrate availability. It's the full title for it is train low, compete high, because you train low but you compete high carb. So you train low carb, but you compete high carb. I wouldn't suggest that you train low carb all the time, but if you're going to experiment with this, do it a couple of times a week. And there are lots of different ways of doing it, but the simplest way to do it, there's 3 methods that I have employed with athletes in the past. And those are to A, train on a low carbohydrate protein meal. So that could be a cheese omelette, a protein shake, a chicken salad, something like that, but no complex or simple carbs. Or the easier way still, but the hardest way to do it, is to train fasted. So you just get up in the morning, have a coffee, have a pint of water, go. You won't be able to train for long. As you get fitter and better at it, you'll be able to go for longer, but you will notice that your training will be much harder, and your Garmin data will reflect this as well. Your RPE will go up. So when you exercise in a fasted state, to clarify, when I say fasted, I mean you're unfed. So when you're training in an unfed or fasted state, your RPE, your rate perceived exertion, goes up. So it feels like you're training harder than you are, but when you look at your data, it will show you that you're not training as effectively. The benefit of doing this is that it forces certain adaptations, which we'll talk about in a moment. So a low carb protein meal, no food at all, or the other one is to backload your carbs, where on a day where you're trying to do this train low method, you save all your carbs for the end of the day. So you might train once, you may train twice in that day, and when you eat, you're eating protein and fat-based meals, and then you have your carbs at the end of the day. And some of those carbs will probably need to be simpler or more high glycemic carbs, just to just to get them into your muscles, get that glycogen back into your muscles as quickly as possible. So that's backloading, when you eat the majority of your carbs at the end of the day. Fasted training is the easiest way to do it, or the simplest way to do it. It's also the hardest way to train. And then, as I say, the other method is just to eat a protein meal, which could be chicken salad, cheese omelette, a protein shake, something like that. Do this a couple of times a week, ideally on your lower intensity training days. And then when you go into an event fully fueled and you're fully carved up for a couple of days going into that event, and you're fully carved up on that day, your body will hopefully prioritize carbohydrates. So you'll be better at fat oxidation, and you'll be able to compete longer before fatigue starts to set in. So it has an effect of carbohydrate sparing. So you will lose fewer, less glycogen. You will burn less glycogen, or you won't burn the glycogen quite as quickly. So it just makes your body a little bit more efficient at utilizing the energy that's available to it. You don't have to do it. It is an advanced method, but for those of you who at that more kind of elite level, this might be a method that you might want to employ that would have some benefits for you when you come to competing in your events.